Yesterday, the Senate Intelligence Committee released a report confirming what people with common sense have known for decades, that the CIA routinely, systematically tortures suspects and detainees. The Senate Intelligence Committee, by the way, is a group of senators that are given higher security clearance to supposedly be able to act as watchdogs for the CIA to supposedly keep them, following the law, which is just a joke. And this is the same group of senators who, by the way, the CIA was illegally spying on and denied, and then later had to admit and apologize for, because the CIA wanted to find out how deep they were digging to find out how much of their torture program the Senate Intelligence Committee was going to expose. And what they did expose, I'll go through it here in a second, is horrific, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's almost a limited hangout. It's almost a straw man to cover up the real torture. I mean, the Nazi Germany level torture of suspects and suspects' family members as well, by the way. So CIA Director John Brennan denied that they were spying illegally on the Senate Intelligence Committee only when forensic evidence confirmed he apologized and admitted. And so the Senate Intelligence Committee's report confirms that they would basically, just freeze people. Everybody knows now about waterboarding, which the Republicans said was just pouring water on somebody's head. It's really almost drowning someone. It is torture. It's against international law, basically. They would threaten family members. They liked anal probing people, too. They would rectally feed suspects. CIA and the Bohemian Grove Illuminati, they like their rectal probes. And so also sleep deprivation, which some people may deny is torture, but it clearly is, especially when you keep somebody up for 180 hours. That's over a week of not letting somebody sleep. And part of the way they would do that, they would also force them to stand for days on end. How would you force somebody to stand? Well, they shackle their arms in a way that has them sort of brought over their head, shackled, chained to the ceiling. And so if they start to bend their knees, if they try to lay down on the ground, the pressure then pulls on their shoulders, dislocating their shoulders, causing such excruciating pain that they have to stand. They have to keep standing. Clear torture. Threatening the family members of detainees. A whole variety of just gruesome, clear violations of international law. But again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. By the way, George Tenet, former head of the CIA, just denied. We don't torture people at all. The real torture has been classified. That would never be revealed, although sometimes it leaks out, like the Abu Ghraib abuse photos that everybody saw that Rush Limbaugh said was just some people blowing off steam. They actually show a variety of rape. This article, which I'm not even going to read the descriptions of some of the photos because it is so horrific, get into Abu Ghraib officials raping children and taking photos of it for their own amusement, probably just to send it to the president. His own little personal collection there of some snuff films, continuing what happened in the Bohemian Grove allegedly back in the 1980s. But George W. Bush had a lawyer and an advisor named John Woo, pictured here, who at a debate in Chicago with another law professor, a law professor from the University of Notre Dame, he literally said that if the president wanted to crush the testicles of a suspect's child, that there's no law or no treaty that could prevent that. John Woo. The audio, here's the audio of it if you want to hear it. This is right from the horse's mouth. Do I have that here?
The president deems that he's got to torture somebody.
If the president deems he's got to torture somebody, this is Doug Castle, law professor, asking John Woo to clarify the 2002 memo, 2002 memo that he wrote, just saying that Bush could do this.
Including by crushing the testicles of the person's child. There is no law that can stop that. No treaty. Also no law by Congress. That's what you wrote in the August 2002 memo.
I think it depends on why the president thinks he needs to do that.
I think it depends on why the president thinks he needs to do that. You know, we treat in America convicted rapists, child molesters, mass murderers better than the suspects in the war on terror, many of which who have just been sold out, framed, literally just patsies who have no trial, no charges brought against them. That's why in America we have the Bill of Rights, which really should extend to, it should be a human Bill of Rights, which, you know, prevents the government from doing things like subjecting people to, quote, cruel and unusual punishment. I would say forcing somebody to stand for a week at a time with, you know, threatening to dislocate their shoulders if they dare to, you know, bend their knees. That's definitely cruel and unusual. I would say rectal feeding is little unusual, little cruel, but totally normal to the Illuminati Bohemian Grove folks. They love their that kind of stuff. But you get the point here, and you're supposed to have a trial, a public trial by a jury, and it's supposed to be speedy. Although, you know, Chelsea Manning was basically tortured and didn't have a trial for, I don't know, was it 2 years, 3 years, probably more. So we really have none of the Bill of Rights left, even for an American citizen at this point, except for the third one, which says that you don't have to quarter troops in your house in peacetime. So as long as these soldiers that break into your house with no warrant or with a delayed search warrant under the Homeland Security or the National Defense Authorization Act and, you know, arrest you and torture you and don't have due process, don't give you due process, don't give you a trial by a jury, give you cruel and unusual. I mean, as long as they don't spend the night in your house, sleep in your bed, then technically they're not violating the Third Amendment by having you quarter troops in your house during peacetime. But literally all of the other amendments are gone. They've been gone. And so the dehumanization of these people just continues to reflect the sick, sad, and sadistic nature of America now, and many people now just fully accept such thing. They like it. They would want to see this. I mean, you look at the History Channel, or the Discovery Channel's Eaten Alive Anaconda special that supposedly had a guy that was going to get eaten by a snake, and then everybody was all pissed off when he didn't get eaten. And people were tuning in. They wanted to watch a snuff film. You know, I mean, you got directors like Eli Roth and films like Hostel and the movies like the Saw series. The Americans and people around the world, they like the death. They really want to watch the people getting murdered and raped. It amuses them. They've become sick, sadistic, satanic scum. So that's basically the gist. The Senate Intelligence Committee, again, the group of senators which has given higher level security clearance to supposedly keep a watch out for what the CIA is doing. Some of them have released some of what the CIA is doing. And by the way, here is Michael Hayden, the former head of the NSA. He gave his testimony to the Senate Intelligence Committee back in 2007. And here's a great article in the Washington Post. Just search for Hayden's testimony versus the Senate report, where you can clearly see that he has lied on numerous occasions as well. There can never be more than 2 waterboarding sessions per day, he says. No session can last longer than 2 hours. Oh, right, here it goes. Khalik Sheikh Mohammed was waterboarded 9 separate days over a 2-week period. 3 waterboarding sessions in 1 day. 5 waterboarding sessions in 24 hours. Hygiene. Well, there's always a bucket to dispose of human waste. Nope, they're placed in diapers. Yes, the soldiers place their detainees in diapers and make them crap their pants. That's not cruel or unusual, apparently, if you're in the Illuminati. I mean, hey, Aleister Crowley used to eat his own feces, in his quest for enlightenment. It just goes on and on. Oh, punches and kicks are never authorized. Whoops. There we go. Here, this one detainee was dragged outside, cut off his clothes, and secured him with Mylar tape. Yeah, just taped them up, slapped them, and punched them a couple times. Abrasions to his shoulders, pelvis, arms, and face. Yeah. So there you go. The United States of Torture. John Woo advised President Bush to crush the testicles of children if he wanted to, so there's no law preventing that. That audio is out there. You can go and listen to it for yourself. And the Abu Ghraib photos that have been classified depict officials sexually abusing children as probably personal photo collections for the Bush crime family and other Illuminati mafioso members. Anyway, sorry to bring this horrible news, but this is what's happening in America today. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the YouTube channel.